Y'all quiet.
Point on. All right, so this point on, we will connect the dots. But I'm going to start by saying, wait. Let's get this right. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
What? Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How y'all doing, everybody? Good. Give me a second.
Dang, we're out here.
Wait. All right. This week we talking about the unstoppable. We talking about everything, all black everything. Okay, and let me work this out so we get this started. All black everything. Put that off. All right, I'm working off. We got 1, 2, 3. We got 4 cameras that we working. Right. So let me add this last camera to it. Go back here. Hit this right here. Hit OK. Let's see. Make sure we on point. All right, so again, we're connecting the dots, right? So we're talking about our first conversation was talking about the inheritance, right? In the early part of the summer, and we're going to line it up so that y'all know what we're talking about because it's August. August was a big month, is a big month, right? So we was talking about our inheritance at previous Sundays, dealing with the fact that the nation of Israel inherited a promise from God. Who remembers what that promise from God was? And that promise from God, if you don't remember, was I will be your God and you will be my people. Meaning that we are the people of God. And it don't matter, and when they say people, they're not talking about just big people. They're talking about everybody. They're talking about all of us. And so in that space, we had an affirmation. And that affirmation talked about how God will make us a great nation and make our name great. And we went from there to understand that that's a conditional situation. Conditional meaning that we had to do something in order to get that experience. How can we experience a life like every other nation? A life like every other people? And that's what we're looking at today. How can we get that experience? And that's what the nation of Israel was building. That's what they were looking for. From the beginning of the Bible to the end of the Bible, it was about one thing. Building a nation. Excuse me, can I get one of the older kids come back and because he's messing with her hair, please? We need some help with a little bit. So now,
Come here, Barry. Come here. Come back here.
And so we're working on.
I don't need it.
There we go. Right. Because, right, somebody was playing with somebody here. But that's okay. We just have to make sure that when we in children's church, we treat everybody the way we want to be treated. And that was like the commandment. Love that God with all thy heart, mind, and soul. And love thy brother as thyself. That was the secret to building a nation. And so even if you look at your age and your community, we talk about a keeper land. A keeper land as being the young African nation of tomorrow. It's the same thing. Treat everybody that you see next to you the way you would treat you. Now, when we started talking about August, right, we went from the Bible to start talking about the month of August and what that meant. Because we were linking up, saying that everything that black people have done since we got here in slavery has been about trying to fulfill that covenant. Fighting off of slavery, fighting off of Jim Crow, fighting off of all the negative history to fulfill what? The covenant. God promises if we could be a people. And the world knew that if black people ever find a way to get back together, to be whose is it? Here, please hold it. Okay, my baby. If we ever get to a point where we are look like we having some. I'm gonna work this. We're gonna watch me work it. Where we can be a people again, our experience will be different. Our experience of life. Last week we talked about what would it be like what would your black nation look like if you had the power to change things? You had the power to make things happen for black people. Now, in that conversation, we also added the issue of Marcus Garvey. And the issue of Marcus Garvey was, we said that at 23, when he traveled around, he noticed one thing. Black people do all the work. Black people do all the work in every place he traveled to. Central America, black people do all the work. So he understood the power of the black force. But what he realized was each individual was powerless. Even though we're building nations all across this world, they took advantage of the issue of slavery. And we're building nations all across this world, we had no power. And that's when God spoke to his heart. He said, I looked around and I didn't see our area. He sat down and said to himself, where is the black man's government? Where is his king, his kingdoms? Where is his president? His country, his men of big affairs. I cannot find them. Then I declare that I will help build them. Now, if you look around the world and you're asking yourself a question, where is it? And this is the same reason why the movie The Black Panther was so popular. Black Panther was so popular. Why? Because it gave people the image of their big affairs. It gave people an image of a powerful black nation. It gave people an image of what the world will look like if we learned how to be a people. And it was all fictional. It wasn't even real. It was not even close to being real. But everybody and their grandmama, who went to go see the movie? Who saw it?
Me.
For real? You saw it? What? Wait. Now, here's a question. How many times did you see it? Because I got the DVD and I saw it on Netflix. You feel me? You saw it 3 times. You saw it 3 times. How many times you see it? One time? How many times you saw it 3 times? Look. And wait a minute, I even watched it and it's funny because when I started working on the Marcus Garvey lesson, I sat down and said, well look, I'm going to listen to some of Marcus Garvey documentaries, right? So I'm listening to some of the documentaries, and then you know what? I said, you know what? I got to go back. I got to look at some Black Panther.
I seen Black Panther.
But how many times?
I seen it at school.
For real?
I seen it a long time ago, and I saw it when I got home.
So that's that. You 3 times, good job. And again, it pulled everybody, yes? Oh, 4. What? And it pulled people. The reason why it pulled people because you could look at an image of what black people would experience if, excuse me, if we had the full range of who we are. And so now, in terms of Marcus Garvey sat down and had that experience. When he realized that he said, I look around the world and said, we're not who we're supposed to be, so I'm going to create it. So at the age of 23, and this is clear, and I'm going to say this for out loud to the people in the back, because all the young adults are sitting in the back. At the age of 23, He wasn't 30. He wasn't 40. He wasn't 50. Marcus Garvey, at the age of 23, started the UNIA. UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association. He said, what? Black people are in need. And I see that we don't have it, so why can't I do it? That was when God spoke to his heart. And then last week we said, you know you are in the zone when you're not thinking about black people from your head, but you're thinking about everybody from your heart. Like when you go outside and you playing with your friends, are you just mean to people? You mean to your friends. Yes. And that's right, that's not cool. That means God ain't in your heart. Say it again. So, oh, they didn't want to share your phone? What? They don't share? Oh, and whose phone is it?
They're both there.
So it's, oh, wait a minute. So both of you supposed to share it. Wait, yeah, but what she said, your big sister said, y'all supposed to share the phone.
No.
What? So y'all got to, and that's the thing. You have to learn, but you have to learn how to share. Okay? You have to learn how to work together. Now, and this is scary because they unconsciously teach us how not to be a group. Who broke your phone? How can a puppy break a phone?
Oh, huh.
Oh, wait. So you got. And look. And then we talked about the fact that he was able to put together a whole bunch of people without technology. And I appreciate y'all bringing up the technology part because there was one thing that Marcus Garvey didn't have. Hello. Marcus Garvey didn't have high-level technology to reach 6 million people. He was in 40 countries. Wow. Now think about this. Everybody think about this. Excuse me, Malachi. He was in 40 countries. He had 1,900 chapters and 6 million people working together. Wow. Say it again. That's a lot of people in a lot of places. It's the thing about it. Somebody said, well, what would he have done if he would have had technology? And then stop. It's not what he would have done. The question is, what will you do? What will you do? Because there are kids out there who would love to hear another kid's story about how he's strong, how he believes in himself, how hard he's working. Kids reaching out to kids to help them be kids. That's what a Keeblad is supposed to be about. Jermoji said, a Keeblad is about developing global Pan-African leadership. Who started school last week? Raise your hand. Now here's it. When did y'all start? You started when? Of what? April. Hold up. July. Okay, so wait. Okay, so what school you go to? Huh? Okay. Now in that, now here's a question. When you're doing this, you go to school, if you're supposed to be a Keeblad, should be global Pan-African leadership. Who went to school and felt that they were an example for the other kids to follow? Raise your hand. Wow. Huh? Wait. Zion said not me. He was clear. Is that what you said, Zion? Really?
Students who follow me were lost.
So, okay, wait. I'm going to ask you to sit up, brother. Now I'm looking at the older group.
Oh.
Who, wait, you know what I'm saying? Because none of y'all raised your hand. I was like, what?
I have a reason. Because
you have a reason for what?
Because when I went to school, I was lost. I went left, and then she was like, "Do you know where you're going?" And I lied to them. I did that was sick. I was like, "Yeah," and they followed me, and they were also lost. And I just had a big group of lost people. We were just so lost. It wasn't even funny. So and then we seen the teacher. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make my way back to the front of the building. Do you know where the lunchroom is? She was like, yeah, go that way. I was like, all right. And we made it back to the lunchroom, and we had to start all over. big group of lost people.
And that's fine as long as y'all feel like y'all lost together. Because I know when I was walking around my first time in junior high school, my first time in high school, yo, wait, I think it's this way. Now let's go this way. And last time I went, and you're talking to each other, you're interacting with each other. You're not lost for the sake of lost and you're going to stand there and do nothing. You can be lost and be the individual that's going to help everybody find their way. And that's clear. So now when you get to your class and you sit in your class and you getting comfortable with your new environment, did you see anybody that felt uncomfortable in class? Yes. Did you, okay, and did you help them? Did you talk to them? Wait, he said no.
He said no.
He said, I hear him say no.
There are people with a scary aura. They just be sitting there in the hood, like, they just be looking at everybody and then they just get off that scary vibe. Like, I just get up. I'd be like, alright bro, I got no thing.
So you decide, okay. So you decide, and that's fine. But as the year goes on, your effort should be always to try to become that individual that where you are exuding what Jaramogi put you here for, when he created the program. Global Pan-African leadership. You're supposed to be the example. Now, this is exactly what Marcus Garvey was trying to do at the age of 23 until. He said, I need to bring together a group of black people who understand their specialness to God. Who knows that they're special to God? Who knows that? Now, in that specialness, and this is deep. In that specialness, what do you do? With knowing, because it is wild, because Zion, you know how Zion just had a couple of negative moments, right? Where he said, I'm not friendly. He said, I'm not standing out. He said, right, wait, you said a couple of not things today, right? And then he said, you wasn't even nice to me. He was like, yeah. Now, wait, and so knowing that you're special to God, and you're saying and you're making a statement that I'm making a choice not to be special to people. No, help me out. Quiet. Go ahead, say it again. Oh, he said he forgot. Now, in this space, Marcus Garvey said, this is what we have to do. Marcus Garvey said, black people have to know who you are in God. And that's different. Knowing who you are in God is different than knowing who you are in your own mind. Because you can have a good day, but then you can have a God's day. Where everything on your focus is focused on God. Now when we sit down and say, all black everything. Because that's exactly, he said, I have to get black people to be in an experience where it's all black everything. Now when we sit down and say, talking about building a nation, we said there are two rules. Love your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and your brother as thyself. So he said this, and that's going toward nation building. When Marcus Garvey said, wait a minute, I have to build all black everything. That is the same thing as building a black nation. And most people sit down and look at it and say, wait a minute, Garvey was trying to fulfill the covenant for black people. Garvey was trying to pull us together as black people so that we could live the experience of what the covenant says. And that's why I feel, me personally, that every place you go to that says that they are Afrocentric or pro-black, if there's not a picture of Marcus Garvey up there, question it. Question it big time if there's no picture of Marcus Garvey. Question it big time. Now, if I say all black everything to you, what does that mean? Anybody has an idea of what all black everything means? Huh? Brother?
Everything that we do in our like daily life is surrounded with black ownership. Like, black is the center of everything.
Black, wait, and that's clear. Black being the center of everything. It be the center of everything. And with Marcus Garvey said, he said, be black, buy black, think black. Those three things. Be black, buy black, think black. Now how do you do that when you a kid? Be black.
Think black.
Huh? Think black. And that's clear. Because it's more than just something that you do, it's just how you think. It's something, it's right. It's more than what you do. Because if you do something just because you want to be nice, it's one thing. But if you do something because you want to be who God called you to be, I want to be, and like you, and we'll get this. We're gonna work this one out for Zion today. We're gonna work this one out for you, brother. Okay, you ready? Be black. Why black? Think black. Marcus Garvey was trying to create an experience in how you live. If we say in the covenant, right? What is the first rule of the covenant? Love God with all your heart, your mind, and your strength. And what's the second part? Love your brother and thyself. Right? So now, be black. And we already know historically the Bible is a Bible of the black people. It's all about us. It's about you. It's about you. It's about you. It's about you.
I like with my brother.
And that's okay, but do you love your brother though? Hey, come on.
Be your sister.
Come on. Do you love your brother? Is the question. Do you love your sister? Do you love your sister? Say yes, I love my sister. If you can say out loud, you can fight your sisters, and you can say out loud that I love my sister. Right?
My sister all the time. She actually makes me mad. I don't try to make her mad.
Now wait. Now if she makes you mad, but the question is, do you love your sister?
Yes.
Now here's a question. There's another question. Do you believe your sister loves you?
I give it a...
What? What? You give it a what? What's a G? What rating? Huh? What type of rating is the G?
Oh, you bet.
She's really close. Not always.
Oh, so you talking about in the alphabet of a 26 points? That's not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad. Now, there were three. Hello, and we're gonna talk about that.
What?
Now I need you. Sit
I'll look away for 6 seconds.
Okay. All right. Now,
I'll look away for
excuse me. There are three things. There are three levels that Marcus Garvey talked about, and I want to say, and this is the part we discussed. Marcus Garvey said, "I can build a black nation off of three things." Hello. Excuse me. You ready? Three things was self-esteem. 1. Second one was self-respect. 2. The third one was self-reliance. Who knows what self-esteem means?
Come on.
Yes, brother.
It's not fair to answer.
Self-esteem is how you feel about yourself. And you can, and this is the hard part. Are you always happy with you?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Huh? Are you always happy with you? Now hit that right. So now when was the last? And what does that mean? Hello.
Sometimes.
Wait a minute.
Sometimes.
Okay. So then, what are the times where you feel like you're not happy with you?
Why?
Excuse me. He's speaking.
When I feel like I can improve somewhere, I just feel like, dang, I really.
Excuse me. Can y'all close that door? Because nobody's supposed to go in and out of that door while the service is starting.
So I just
You have to go out the back door.
like sometimes I just be thinking, I just be like, dang, I could really be improving somewhere, but like I'm doing nothing right now. Like even if I'm supposed to be doing nothing, I'm like I could be improving, but I'm just sitting here.
And that's in what Marcus Garvey saw in terms of self-esteem. He said, we can't be a people if you don't feel good about you.
Yeah.
Hello. We can't be. Malachi. Go take a walk in the back. Go sit with the big people. You got it. Go ahead. Go take a walk. Go sit with the big people for a little while. Go.
Put that on your seat.
Put it on the seat. Go ahead. Put it. Okay. Oh, you just herbs?
Yes, he said it.
Okay. Go ahead. Go sit with the big people. Self-esteem is how you feel about yourself. And there's two things. And this is different. This is the part y'all gotta get. When do you feel good about you? And when do you how does that mean? What does self-esteem when you got self-esteem in God? You have self-esteem in yourself, but self-esteem in God. If you understand how that you're special, God created you special. So then there's a certain time that every time you wake up, when I come in and I be like, good morning. See that? Oh, that's good energy right there. Right? Good energy right there. Now watch this. Right? And now guess what? Every day is supposed to be, every moment of your life is supposed to be in a place where you feel good about who you are.
Good morning.
So if you only feel good about it, and that's the thing. Excuse me. Now he said he only feels good sometimes. Now you take that experience or that feeling, and it's an okay feeling to feel that way. And I'm not saying you don't, because everybody's not always high. But when you sit down and you say, you know what, I'm going to take this and I'm going to stand in God with it. This feeling that I have, where your self-esteem is supposed to come from, your experience with God. And this is what Marcus Garvey said, you are as special to God as anybody else. Any other kid, any other race, any other culture. So if you are special to God, where does your self-esteem? Your self-esteem should feed off of how God sees you. Not how the world sees you, and sometimes not how you choose to see yourself. It's about how God sees you. And there in that moment, even in your down issues, because you take that experience to God. But I'm not feeling okay today. You know what? God may be trying to talk to me about something. God might be trying to get me to learn something about myself I need to learn about. And you can tell individuals who got high self-esteem or low self-esteem by how they treat everybody else. If you have somebody who's always saying, I'm not friendly, no, I'm not nice, you're realizing they're not talking about how they feel about other people, they're talking about how they feel about themselves. Individuals who are happy with themselves can help teach other people, or they share that happy with other people. And that doesn't mean you got to be, because we have somebody up in here who's called the silent warrior. Am I right? Is that how you define it? And in him being silent warrior, he almost never really superly engages. But there is no opportunity or time or situation where you come in contact with him and he's feeling negative. Just because he's quiet doesn't mean that he's negative. It's just, hey, this is how I roll. This is my swag. It's my energy field. But when you come closer for me to encounter you, you get good vibes. And we have a lot of individuals who don't speak much and don't have good vibes. And that's something that we got to take a look at. When you're looking at you in terms of quote unquote your self-esteem. Is my self-esteem in myself, in my life, in my circumstance, in my situation? Because how can you build a nation, or how can Marcus Garvey believe that he could build a nation if everybody focuses on the fact that the society that we live in treats us bad? White people don't treat black kids happy. White people kill black people on the internet. That's scary. How are you going to be happy about you, sister? Alright, we're not supposed to go in and out of that door once children's church starts.
Okay, we work on what's in here.
Come on. Wait, let me see if it's good. It's over. For the issue of safety, they say to keep that door closed. Alright. So in this space, how do you think, and this is something how do you think God feels about you? And that's real. We know how you may feel or not feel about yourself, but how do you think God feels about you? Twins? How do you think God feels about you? Huh?
Okay, now.
Proud. And that's according to what you do. So that when you're with your self-esteem, knowing that, you know what, I'm as equal to anybody else. God has blessed me the way he blessed everybody else. How do you think God feels about you? Huh? Right. How do you think God feels about you? Huh? You don't know. Now, and I'm going to say this, and that's fine, and sometimes it's hard. If you don't know, and it's okay not to know. What if I sit down and tell you God made you perfect? God made you strong. God made you handsome. God made you smart. He made you articulate. There's nothing wrong with you. God, anything that God creates is beautiful. And He loves it. So now, how do you think God feels about you? Huh? Good? Right. And that's real. Now the question is, how much, in terms of your self-esteem and you feeling good about you, how much do you share that with the person next to you? Who's always good? And you're not, you can like, who has arguments with their brothers and sisters? Raise their hand. Right? Who has arguments with just friends and family? Raise your hand. Now, and that's okay. That's being human. Now here's and that's what's that? Is that your dance for the day? Is that yeah? We're not dancing today. We're not dancing. And that's okay. But in your all black everything. Hello, excuse me. In your all black everything. Everybody say all black everything. All black everything. I need you to say it from the chest. All black everything. All black everything. The first step to be able to master all black everything in the world of black people is one. Building your self-esteem in God. Knowing that you are special to God. Important to God. Like anybody else. You cannot sit in the classroom and expect to master what's in that classroom if you don't feel good about who God created you to be. Excuse me. The second thing, hello. This is the hard part. What does self-respect mean? Excuse me.
We respect something?
Respect somebody that you want to respect somebody.
But what is it though? It's how you live. Respect is how you live and how you carry yourself. If I walk up to you and treat you the way you treat other people when you feel like being negative, guess what? Is that being self-respectful to me? No. That's not respecting me or the person that I see. Especially if you believe that God created every black kid beautiful. If you believe that about yourself, you got to believe that about the people you sit next to, and you got to treat them that way. That's the thing. It's okay to argue and interact like that, you know what I'm saying, when you have differences. But when you sit down and say, my self-esteem is in God, my strength and my love for myself is in God, then guess what? It's also in them too. And so when I see them, I'm going to carry myself a certain way. Why? Because I exist in God. And when I choose to act out, I'm acting out what? In front of God. So are you respecting the God in you in terms of how you sit in the chair? Are you respecting the God in you or in terms of how you communicate? Are you respecting the God in you or how you play? Are you respecting the God in you? And now here's the question, are you respecting the person next to you? When was the last time, hello, when was the last time you did something for somebody other than yourself that made them super happy? What was it?
I gave this.
You gave him what? Did he give you a cake?
I let him get one game.
Oh, you let him get, oh, wait a minute. So it was like letting him, you didn't share? What's up with that?
You don't even care about what's wrong. I'm the only person that take care of you.
Huh?
I'm the only person that take care of you.
So now and that's funny because they twins. They twins. I always make a joke with them and tell them that somebody was eating all the food in the stomach and then he came out and got mad and was eating. He said, you took all the food, so now I'm going to eat all of it. And that's why one is bigger than the other. That's always been my running joke with them. And it's cool, but it's okay. Now when he said, I let him play the game. So now he said, well, yeah, he said, because he's always taking it and he never allows me to play. And now here's a question. In terms of the respect, are you respecting him according to how you see yourself? Right? And that's what you got to look at. You got to look at how you what's happening in terms of how you interact with people. Because we can't build a nation, we can't build a Kivaland, we can't build a youth program, we can't build anything if we're not loving each other the way God loves us. Or respecting each other is respecting the God in you and then respecting the God in them. All black everything. Again, this is how we exist as black people. We cannot get the blessings of God if we are not self-respecting in God. And that's not just because you can sit down and be nice, but then being nice in God means you're doing it because we're going towards building a nation. We asked everybody last week, what would your black nation look like? We know what Marcus Garvey was trying to do. Now, so okay, and you wasn't here, and that's good. So are you ready to answer the question? Get ready, because I'm gonna ask it to you before the day's over. Just think about it. What would your black nation look like? And you get some time. You get some time. What would you do if you like Marcus Garvey? Yes. No. If you like Marcus Garvey, set about the world to bring black people together. What would you do for black people so that black people could live better? All black everything. Not yet. I want you to be serious too, Zion. Okay? Brother, can you respect the God in me as I respect the God in you? And when I ask you the question, you be serious? And that's it. That's respect. Excuse me. What's going on here? Okay, so then
You gotta wait.
right now she has to wait because there's a sister in the bathroom and you can't drag her to the bathroom. When the sister comes back to help her, she'll help her. Okay, brother? Alright, because brothers ain't taking sisters to the bathroom.
Yeah, bro.
Sisters are taking the sisters to the bathroom.
Not a good idea.
Right. Now the third thing, excuse me. Third thing in terms of we got self-esteem. And we talked about self-esteem in God versus just regular self-esteem. And what it means to be, because we sit down and we tell you, you young, you black, and you gifted. Young, black, and gifted is how we define you. That should feed yourself. That's how we see you. Young, you black, and you gifted. So we feed your self-esteem in God so that way when you go about doing things, you do great. How do you, who in school, who's been the class where you had a class, so far you got a class that you think that you're not going to like? Who had that experience?
Absolutely.
Okay, what's the class?
It was Robinson's, because Robinson's is a bunch not smart, so it's really hard because they're going to keep.
So when you say happy,
Taking so long,
okay.
and we're going to be stuck with the same lesson all day.
Okay, so you're saying are you smarter than everybody else? Most likely. Okay, and that means what should your grades be like at the end? Now, and it's a thing here. Being the smartest in class comes with a responsibility too. Okay, well if you change class. Now have you ever wait a minute, I didn't see it. Now, it is this thing. When you are and you sit and you have an experience where, and I know it was one point when I was in school and I was, I would always look for the kids who wasn't as smart as I was. And if you weren't as smart as I was going to help you. Because the last thing I want to see is my friends fail. And so I would raise my hand, and I remember one time they got mad and was labeled me as a teacher's pet because the teacher said, "Excuse me, do you mind if I go help so and so and so?" The teacher was like, "Yeah, go ahead and go help him." And my friends would, the people in the classroom would pick on me. Why? Because they were, he's a teacher's pet. Why? Because I'm trying to help you? Really? And that was me giving back. I respected the God in me. My enthusiasm. There's not going to be a class that I walk in and I'm not going to try my best. Because I am. If God made me perfect, then that means I can learn anything at any time, around anybody. And it doesn't matter who you are. Cover your mouth. Bless you. Thank you for full medical coverage. And so when you, yes, brother?
I just wanted to do this. What you just said about helping. I used to do that in first grade, but after that, I just realized something.
What was
they
that?
put themselves in that position. I can't stop myself when that speed is going.
And he said you make yourself, and this is clear. Some people's learning process is slower than others. Right, meaning that if you pick up something real fast and somebody picks up something real slow, that doesn't mean that they're not smart. That means that they might learn at a different pace. And because they learn at a different pace doesn't make them less smart. And so in that space, if you sit in the classroom and like you said, I want my class to move at a particular pace, then help the class. Help the teacher. Help your friends. Don't take it as though when we said if your education doesn't belong to you, it belongs to God. If your education belongs to God, then so does everybody else's. And if we are all black everything, in your classroom, you should be singing your nation. That's what you should be seeing. What is the nation that I'm going to be a part of? Have you ever come across a kid in your class that you see as future black leadership? Excuse me, brother. Can you do me a favor? Separate the two. Separate them. Thank you. I appreciate you. Hey.
Where's my hook? Where's my Lego?
Sure do.
Lego. Have anyone seen my nobody can sit in it?
Right. Now.
That is my cousin. Ooh. Hey.
Have you ever met someone in your classroom that when you saw them, wait a minute, let me ask, when you saw them, you felt an experience that this person has a leadership quality?
I felt a little bad for them. So.
Well, we're not talking about feeling bad for people, because we're talking about have you met someone?
Yes,
Wait, let me finish the question so you get it. Have you met someone? When you met them and when you walked in the room, how they carried themselves, how they did it?
Alright, so it was when I was in the middle school. I'm friends with him now, but back then, I hated that dude, bro. He was so annoying. I just didn't like him. He reminded everybody at home, and he just had that. He had a scary aura. He reminded the teacher of the homework every time. There was sometimes he didn't do it, but he didn't do it himself. But he just had that leadership quality, but nobody like talked to him like that because just the presence he carried was either too scary for them or too high. So it's like you know what? Since somebody else want to do it, I talked to him. He was actually a pretty chill person. I liked him. He was a friendly person, and we go to the same high school, bro. It's pretty cool.
And it's funny because this is clear. Sometimes when you're young, you see leadership stands out drastic, right? It'll stand out drastic. You can look at a kid, know a kid, even in the midst of playing ball, he's pointing out, yo, block so-and-so, guard, he's calling the shots, that's the point guard. Point guard is always a leader. And then in football, who's usually the leader in the football? You got the defensive, the center, or
quarterback. And then on the defensive side, it's the safety, I think, and the linebacker.
Right. So now, hello, there's always scenarios with Saeed. Can you come, please? Pick her up. Appreciate it. Sometimes, hello, sometimes, when you get into that point where you're dealing with kids when you walk into a school, and this ain't nothing wrong with playing and having fun, but you always experience that one kid that stands out, and you don't even understand why they stand out. They said Marcus Garvey, when he was young, he said he would go with everybody, and all he would do was he would read. He would read, and more read. And you know, like in something, you know, who's the older sibling? Excuse me. Okay, you can answer that. Raise your hand. Use a bar hand. Raise your hand. You're the older sibling, or you're a younger sibling. You older by a minute. So yeah, right. So he uses the minutes to be like, yeah, I'm older than you by like 5 minutes, man. That's funny. Sit in the chair, correct? Huh? Now, and in that space of being the older sibling, you're usually looked upon as having to be more responsible. And they're looking at your one, Marcus Garvey, self-esteem, how you feel about yourself and how you're going to feel about the people that's over you. 2, self-respect, how you carry yourself versus how you're going to take care of the people that are under you. Now, Marcus Garvey had a third scenario where he said, this we build nation. It's called self-reliance. Who knows what self-reliance means? Self-reliance is when you rely on everything that comes from you and from God. Now, there's nothing wrong. Like in today's world, they dealing with self-reliance. They deal with it as, you know, when you get grown and you're 21 and you can take care of yourself. I don't need nobody. I take care of myself. I pay my own bills. It's more than that. Self-reliance is as a people. What would self-reliance look like if it's based not on you as an individual, but as a people? What would that look like?
And already.
What would that look like? Anybody have a clue? What would self-reliance look like? Now here's a question. Who ever seen an automobile made by black people? Raise your hand. Right, an automobile made by black people.
What's that?
Right. Who ever seen an airplane made by black people? Raise your hand.
Yes.
An airplane?
What's
the name? No, what's the
name?
Huh?
It's just not published. It's not like you can buy it.
No, I want to know an airline like TWA, Delta. And have you ever seen an airline created, made, and everything by black people?
No.
Actually,
Right.
yes. Black people airlines.
Come on, right, stop playing. I'm not playing. There we go. So now, and understand that we are trying to get them to understand. This is the older crowd, this is the younger crowd.
Wait, what?
We feeding in the middle. Yeah, right? Well, oh, you gonna switch sides now? We're gonna switch sides now? That's funny.
Yeah.
Self-reliance, and this is why, hello, and this is what Marcus Garvey talked about, all black everything. If we have our self-esteem in God, identity comes from God. Our self-respect, how we carry ourselves in terms of representation of the God in us. And that's everything. That's how you sit, how you stand, how you walk, how you talk. It's everything in God. And then the next one is self-reliance. If everybody in the world, if everybody in the world can take care of themselves, how come black people can't take care of ourselves? Huh? And that's what we're saying. It's not some black people.
Well, we can live as a community.
If we live out in the community, right? And that's the thing. And that's why Marcus Garvey said, you know what? If I can get 6 million people together, 1,900 chapters, 40 different countries, and we're thinking and living and being all black everything, that means there will not be hunger. There will be nothing but high technology. We won't have to drive an Escalade. We can drive a black-made automobile, and we're gonna call it the
Batmobile.
No. The
Blackmobile.
Blackmobile. Thank you, brother. Funny. Now, excuse me. And that's clear. When it's all black everything, it means that you believe everything that you say, do, and experience in life is based on how you feel God called you to be. When you're in your classroom, it's an all black everything. It means, right? It means that I'm giving my best to God today so that we can build for ourselves today. We don't even have to wait till tomorrow. When you're dealing with the all black everything. Hello? And now we sit down and say, like you now, what we do have is we have all black schools, right? Who goes to an all black school? Everybody got an all black school? And now, and it's, which is sad, because in that scenario, we know that they're not teaching us according to the information that we need to know. Because I know I've been through school, all the way through school, nobody ever talked about Marcus Garvey. You ever heard about Marcus Garvey in school? Raise your hand if you heard about Marcus. You heard about Marcus Garvey?
You wouldn't hear about him in like, I say 5th grade and below, you'll hear about Marcus Garvey, and a little bit of 6th grade, but above that, you won't hear him no more.
Now, and this is the thing, and this is how and I'm glad you said that. You see here a little bit. Marcus Garvey was the black influence for all black leaders from the 1920s on. Huh? Just a little bit or a lot? Okay, and that's good. He had to have African teachers. Now, without and teaching all black everything, because then, and we talked about this last week, we're not trying to teach you to grow up to be a great employee. We don't want you to be a great employee. Jeremiah, baby, I even said, I'm not getting Bugle land where we can have the largest black-owned farms to do a syndicated supermarkets and then have holistic restaurants. I'm not doing this for me to be rich. I'm doing this for us to be a people. We need to be able to do three things: feed, clothe, and house ourselves. And the only way to do that is to believe that God made you as good as anybody else. God made you as good as anybody else. I need you to wake up in the morning with your self-esteem and say, God made me as good as anybody else. Like we have a little sister who's always getting on her big brother's nerves. Always bothering him. As long as you understand that in that relationship and in that tug of war, because it's not going to be perfect. God made both of y'all as good as anybody else. He made all of y'all. So when you start interacting with your friends, or you start interacting with your brother, or you start sitting up. Now here's a question. We talk about self-respect. Is that self-respect? Right. You got to be able to witness what self-respect looks like. When you sit in a place and you can't even put your butt in the seat, you put your head in the seat. Is that self-respect according to the environment, what God has called you to be and do in this moment? Huh? No, right, and you know that. Is self-respect sitting there playing the drums on the chair when we teach in class? Right. No, we know that. To be able to know what this means and what this does when you're doing it, that's important. You are the future leadership for black people. Your affirmation for this week is the same one as last week. Y'all ready? Now I want y'all to use your divine self-esteem, which is that's the energy in you. I want you to use your divine self-respect. That's respecting the God in you and the God in everybody else. And I want you to use your experience of self-reliance. Y'all ready? I am the leadership that the African diaspora is waiting for. I am the leadership that the African diaspora is waiting for. Now, here's a question: did you believe it? Do you believe that this is who God called you to be?
Yeah.
You said yeah?
Yeah.
You believe? Yeah. He just took the camera out, but we're not on that camera. I switched it before you got it. It's okay. It's okay. I am the leadership that the African diaspora is waiting for. You gotta live it. You gotta live it in all the things you do. You gotta live it in all the things you say. You gotta live it in your experience. Yes, please. Now in this, today after this we have the after school special. We have the after school thing in the park, so that's why we're not gonna have snacks and we're gonna go out and y'all supposed to get y'all those school supplies and everything else. We have an experience today. And I think that's where everybody left to set up, and we're hoping that it's all been set up and it's all been done. All black everything. From head to toe. Just come straight through. Come straight through.
Would you guys like some help with some stairs?
All black everything from head to toe. I am all black everything. Give yourselves a hand.
Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own to make ourselves free men. Our great scholars, having passed through the colleges and universities, have thrown away the blessed record. Babylon did it. Assyria did it. France under Napoleon did it. Germany under Prince von Bismarck did it. England under America under George Washington did it. Africa with 400 million black people can do it. If you cannot do it, if you are not prepared to do it, then you will